Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Evil Man.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Evil Man. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Evil Man. Yeah.
It's Friday night. It's another damn episode of Evil Man.
It's Friday. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you and the boys are going down to the pub and get them to blast Evil Man on the radio.
And you're gonna get that cute waitress to give you a little wink. And you're gonna look at her butt as she gets you a drink.
To give you a little wank?
A little wink.
Oh.
A little wink. And a little wank. A little dink. And a little thanks. Thanks for the wink and the dink wank. I'm Friday.
Thanks for the wink and the dink wank. That was Thanks for the Wink and the Dink Wank by the Stinky Boys.
Coming up next, I Don't Want to Live Anymore by Depeche Mode.
I don't want to live anymore.
Yeah. I just can't get enough of wanting to die. Every time I wake up, I want to go back to sleep. I just can't get enough of darkness. They actually wrote that with another member in the band, and then when they left, they went darker.
Was it Martin?
Oh, the guy who made
No, it's only on that first
Erasure,
album.
right? The guy who started Erasure.
Is it?
I could be wrong, but I know one
No,
of
it was
the...
Yaz.
Oh, Yaz?
Yeah.
Yasmin
Yaz.
Bleeth.
But there was a guy from Depeche Mode in Erasure, but I guess it's a different guy.
This is Depeche Mode Erasure.
Fuck, I'm gonna look it up. Erasure is one of my favorite
Just
bands. I
can't
love
get
Depeche
enough.
Mode too.
Just can't get enough.
Your own personal laptop. Something where you can type emails and watch all sorts of vids. Your own.
Send a message to your friends.
Vince Clarke, previously co-founder of Depeche Mode and a member of Yazoo, was in Erasure, so same guy.
Oh my God. West
Wow.
End Girls.
Erasure was always,
different.
yeah. Erasure was always, I wanna be with you and make believe with you.
Oh, yeah, that's Pet Shop
and live
Boys.
in harmony, harmony, oh Lord.
But Erasure had a bigger hit than that.
So
Yeah, that's it.
I hear you calling. Oh, baby, please give a little respect to me.
Fuck, dude.
That's so good.
Oh my God. I
We're-
want to
we're
wear
paying
leather
respect.
pants with creams inside of them.
This
Me
week we're
too.
paying respect to the godfathers of early 80s British new wave music who inspired us to do what we do here every week on Evil Man Podcast.
Dum, 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 ba-dum, dum, dum, dum,
Bum, ba-dum, ba-dum, dum, dum, dum. Bum, ba-dum, ba-dum, dum, dum, dum. Bum, dum, bum.
When we see you, Mike, we start to talk, and it's all because of the work you did back in the early 80s in Britain.
Dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
When I eat some pizza, it tastes so good. I just can't get enough. Remember,
I just
like,
need to
when
take
we-
a shit. I just need to take a shit. Then I drank a milkshake and a full ice cream sundae. I just need to take a shit.
I just gotta take a shit. I am a lactose intolerant, and I just can't get enough of taking a.
It's like
Oh God! Bonk.
so good.
But like the thing is I recently drove to Ottawa and back with my family.
The toilet capital of the country.
Yeah, so I just saw like the biggest toilet,
Yes.
and it's still under construction.
Parliament Hill.
Speaking of Ottawa, today is a historic day for our country called Canada Country because Prince King Charles was in Ottawa to make a little speech on the throne.
Spike
And-
Milligan's friend.
Yes, and Jimmy Savile's friend. and he came to Canada with his charming wife, and they had a nice time in Ottawa. They got to see all the sights. They skated on the Rideau Canal. He dropped a puck. They shook
God.
hands of Canadians. Can you imagine how fun that would be to meet the
I
king?
would love to meet Chin Charles.
Chin Charlie.
I would love to meet a chinchilla, to be honest, in a king's crown.
Now you know Ottawa. What would you recommend King Charles to see if he, if you give him like, perfect day in Ottawa, Chris?
Well, you just missed my show, which I did a couple weekends ago. So good.
Oh, no.
I don't know. Yeah, in Ottawa, go get
Rideau
a beaver tail.
Center. You got a beaver tail.
Yeah, deep fried bread with cinnamon on top. Boom.
When I get hungry, I want a beaver tail.
The thing is Prince, the singer, named after Prince Charles.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Michael Mongiardi, can we bring that up? Prince, the singer, actually named after Prince Charles.
Yeah. I mean, Michael is doing other stuff, but how did he come up with the name Prince? Because what
Well-
an interesting name to give yourself.
He's clearly influenced big time by James Brown, Rick James,
James Joyce.
James Joyce, Henry James.
Joyce DeWitt from Three's Company.
I'm influenced by her to go closer to Chrissy.
Bowser and Blue.
Bowser and Blue.
No offense to Joyce DeWitt, she
love
was
them.
so funny. She was really good on Three's Company, but she just there's shows from the 70s where it seems like some of the stars liked to smoke. You know what I'm talking about?
That's interesting.
There's like a real smoky vibe to some people from the 70s.
I've never really watched a Three's Company. I've
That's
seen
a
like
bad
5 minutes of it. But there's
They're
John
great.
Ritter, Two Babes, and Don Knotts. Is that the?
Well, he was the
Don Knotts
second,
is later.
second landlord. The first landlord was Mr. Roper and
Yeah.
Mrs. Roper. And then they were so popular, they got their own spin-off, The Ropers, which lasted one season. And they brought in Don Knotts as Mr. Furley.
Who was
Yeah.
the actor who played the Ropers, or just a some whatever?
Norman Fell.
Yeah,
played
Right,
yeah.
Mr.
that is
Roper.
fucking awesome that you knew that.
Well,
He
he's in a
plays a
bunch of
cop in
movies.
Bullet.
Yeah.
He plays tough guys until Three's Company.
Yeah.
Basically.
And the premise of Three's Company is John Ritter is just living with his
It's
two
based
babes.
on a hit
Sounds great.
British sitcom.
Man of the House.
Yeah, called Man of the House. Because it's like the swinging 60s turned into the swinging 70s, you know?
Yeah.
Everybody's got long sideburns,
Yes.
bushy hair, and they're like, have you seen my underwear? Yeah, it's in the toaster. What's it doing there? I don't know. Like, that's how crazy we are.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And so it was like, what if a bunch of young single swinging people ended up being flatmates together, but the landlords are older, uptight
Okay.
generation, and they don't want a single man living with two single women. So the man pretends to be gay.
Okay.
But-
That's the fucking premise,
But
bro.
That's
Jack
good.
Tripper, John Ritter, he's a hit with the ladies.
Yeah, he actually is the horniest
Yeah.
heterosexual dude ever.
Yeah.
That's the twist.
Wow, that's funny.
Every episode began with him ejaculating.
Wow.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, I've got 3 hours until this thing's back up and running again. I got to figure my life
Did
out.
he have crushes on the two girls he lived with?
I think
Like,
sort of.
Sorta.
They
But
were,
he
it was
always
like
had
in
other
Friends
girlfriends.
when it's like you're
Yeah.
hot, but
Mhm.
we're
Yeah.
friends.
He always had other girlfriends.
but one thing they would
in
do
the
is
apartment.
one person would be in the living room, and through the swinging door that led to the kitchen, they would hear people say something in the kitchen that they would misinterpret as like an innuendo or something,
Yeah.
or something crazy happening.
And then lots of physical comedy on behalf
Like-
of John Ritter.
So they'd be making pancakes in the kitchen,
like John
but the
Ritter,
person in the
two
living room
girls.
hears them making pancakes, but the dialogue is
Oh,
suggestive.
so it's like, oh, let me just squeeze this
Yeah.
round thing, and
Yeah.
oh my god,
Let me just
I'm-
put this in your anus.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
And then Mr. Furley would be like, what?
And you go in, and the
Yeah.
oven's called like an anus,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
somehow
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
German. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
get it nice and hard, put it in your hole.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they mean mouth.
And then
so
squirt.
they still call it a hole.
You're like, that's it.
And then jack it off so that the strawberry filling squirts into your mouth.
And then, yeah.
It's like some weird pastry that you
landlord-
jack off.
And then they go in and they are like milking an eclair.
And they're like, "What's wrong with you, Mr. Furley?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Where's Jack?"
What's all this talk of an anus? And then they would come out at the end of the show, and they'd all hold hands and they'd bow to the camera and say, "Thank you for watching this episode."
Yeah.
Okay.
Did they really?
Well, I heard you guys talking about spitting on a cock. No, we were just saying our coq au vin is spittingly good. Here,
Yeah.
want to try some?
Yeah, and then they had Jack had a pervert friend named Larry, who
Yeah,
was the
Larry.
epitome
Jack
of a
is
John Ritter, and he had a friend named Larry who was the epitome of like a sleazy disco
Larry was like
guy.
Dan from Nightcore.
Well, he was
Oh,
a
I
disco
love
era
Dan for Nightcore.
player.
Is he
Yeah.
basically the inspiration for the
Leisure
dude
Suit-
on Family Guy, Giggity Giggity Quagmire?
Kinda. Like it would make sense.
Okay.
It would make sense.
I would say
To be
he's-
honest.
it's logical.
That's
But I would
logical,
say-
Captain.
I would say he's also the inspiration for literally Leisure Suit Larry, the famous video game star.
OMG.
I would love to play. I've never played Leisure Suit Larry. As a kid, you'd see advertisements for it and you'd
Yeah.
just be transfixed. Like,
You'd be like,
what
God.
is this?
Yeah.
I want to play this. Like, what
Yeah.
naughty
Oh,
things
dude.
happen in this game?
I know.
I got to watch a walkthrough on YouTube.
He could die. So part of the
Did you play Leisure Suit Larry?
yeah, when I was a kid, we had like a like pirated copy.
Your
of
mom
it,
let you?
and no, but we had it, and you were like going in this like a sleazy area of like San Francisco or something, and you could like
Awesome.
pick up a sex worker and have sex with her, but if you didn't put on the condom beforehand, like 10 minutes later, your character would die.
That's so
and that was
No
part of the
way.
game.
Did they say sex worker in the game?
I don't remember.
Right,
I don't
okay.
remember if they did, but yeah, part of the game, you die of an STD if you didn't wear a condom, and that's different from games at the time like Donkey Kong, Pac-Man,
No, actually, Mike,
Frogger.
there's a bonus level in Donkey Kong. If Mario fucks Donkey Kong in the ass without a condom, he does die.
He does die. Okay.
Does Leisure Suit Larry go to City Lights in San Francisco and get
To
like
meet Lawrence Ferlinghetti.
yeah, and get like a book of poetry?
Yeah, and if you don't read the whole poetry book within like 10 minutes, you die.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Do you remember any other levels?
It was
Do you see
mostly
boobs
about-
though?
Yeah, do you?
Sort of, but it was like also very pixelated.
Yeah,
and
it
poorly-
was like less pixels than Mario, right?
It's not like now when I'm
It
playing.
was like if
Yeah.
a Pong character was nude.
Yeah.
because now, I mean, you're playing The Witcher 3. I mean, you're seeing nudity and you're probably getting turned on. That's
Yeah.
just the truth. And when Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out, I don't know if there's nudity in it, but I remember in 5, you could get a lap dance from a stripper in the game, and
Yeah.
I mean, it was great. So
Honora.
different than that probably in Leisure Suit.
Has
Larry.
anyone made a hyper realistic video game where you have to go? The object is to go to the bathroom and clean yourself.
Yes.
Ooh.
It's called The Simulation and we're in it.
Ah,
Huh? Good move,
Ever
higher
think that-
intelligent beings.
Ever think that life is just a computer simulation of a video game where you have to go to the bathroom?
Why
Yeah,
are you
that
making me do this?
okay.
Like saying it to your creator.
imagine the real humans don't have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
To them, that's insane and disgusting. But someone ran a simulation.
Yeah.
Imagine if, like, once
the
or twice
alien
a
being's
day,
like,
you have
I'm-
to let this yellow and brown poison out of your body.
Yeah.
How weird
Well,
would that be? Boop.
That's a bit harsh.
Well, gross stuff.
Okay, thank you.
And
Yeah,
and
my
then they
poo
run
and
the
pee just got
simulation.
offended by what you just said.
Cut 2,000 or whatever. Cut how many ever thousands of years in the future. There's guys in Vancouver Island making Instagram videos where they drink it.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what unbelievable.
I know.
Video games have come a long way.
They have, yeah.
They have. They're very realistic.
Oh yeah.
Like, I could kill you guys now and you'll come back to life. Give me a knife.
no. That's in the video game, not in real life.
This is the video game.
Oh,
Try to convince me otherwise.
Hmm.
How do we know that this isn't the simulation? Your player just made you do that.
oh my
Because
god.
he has the special funny sound effect package.
What's Mike's player like? Like, is it
I'm
a kid with zits who's
I'm chaotic good.
yeah? But I mean,
And-
like, if there's a kid or an adult or someone playing you,
Yeah.
Oh,
Like pressing the controls, making Mike do what Mike does.
Who's manipulating me?
Yeah.
I think it's a single older woman who works in an office a lot, and she plays Mike to unwind when she gets home from work from managing people in an office.
I'm the ultimate chill out character for that type of woman.
Yes. She's like, oh God,
Time to unwind.
time to throw off the stress of my intergalactic packaging and refurbishing company. Or
Time
whatever.
to play this game.
Play a bit of Mike.
Where it's
Play a bit of Mike.
Let's see what's going on with this character today. Oh, he woke up and he saw that another raccoon has taken a shit right outside his bedroom window. Oh no! Oh, time to get the shovel and fling it onto the ground, and then spray more vinegar and garlic powder to prevent raccoons from coming back.
I'll tell you what,
So
though.
the raccoons are still doing it.
This woman may be sexually aroused when she plays the level when Mike is at the gym,
Yeah.
because she's watching Mike use the leg machine, and she's you know what I mean? Like, she might be getting turned on.
Mike, you've been programmed to like going to the gym by a greater
By a
middle-aged
vengeful
woman
god.
being.
Yeah.
That actually makes sense.
Yeah.
Because you're keeping fit, you're looking good.
Everything about
Why,
Mike
though?
makes
Why?
sense when you think that an older office woman is playing him as a character.
That's why I just booked a trip to Hedonism 2 in Jamaica. 'Cause it's not something I usually would do, but
Wow. Did you feel like it was out of your control?
well, it was like, I should go here. Maybe I'll meet an older, lonely woman.
Oh my
You know what? That would fucking
Yeah.
rule, dude.
Yeah.
Going to hedonism too with like a sexually repressed like
Yeah,
businesswoman.
be
And
Cool.
a bunch of podcasts saved. Yeah.
We are not going to say the name to protect the innocent, but we all know someone whose like wife's family bought them a free trip there, not realizing it was like a very sexy.
To Hedonism 2?
Yes.
What?
I'll tell you after. Yes.
I don't know this story.
Yes. And we
Did
all
they
know
go?
the person. They did, and he was like, "Yeah, it was fun." I assume it wasn't crazy. I guess you can go to hedonism
Someone's
too and not just-
parents bought them a trip to Hedonism 2, the
Yes.
swinging resort?
Yes, not knowing. Yeah,
Wow.
but I don't know. You know what? Yeah, we just need like if we could literally just triple our Patreon or something like that. I swear to God, if we could, that's a goal. If we could just triple our Patreon, I will make this promise now. You guys haven't agreed, or neither have our wives and girlfriend. We take the podcast to Hedonism 2 and we record a month's worth of episodes there.
Can
and
we
report
swing
on
for
what
real?
It's like. That is up to you and your wife.
Would you want to,
No.
Mike?
Depending on if we go in the winter, yes, because I hate the winter. I hate being cold, so I'd love to be in Jamaica.
Yeah. But would you swing in hedonism too?
I'll have to talk to Suze about
And
that.
Suze is with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, in that
I
case,
was kidding.
yes. Here's what I think, though. We should
case,
do.
yes.
We should find investors, and we should open a Hedonism 3
Oh my God.
on Canadian soil,
Hell
somewhere
yes.
around Somewhere
Port-
around Lake Ontario.
Pele Island,
Yeah.
the southernmost point of Canada.
Point Pelee Island.
Yeah.
Yeah. That could be
Pele,
good.
the
Pele.
Brazilian soccer star.
Where did
Sorry,
we
yes.
go?
We can do it in Kingston, I think. They have
Where did we
beaches.
go the first time we rented
Turkey
a
Point.
cottage
No.
and it was like all the dead fish washed up on shore?
Turkey Point, I think.
Turkey Point.
Lake Erie?
Lake Erie.
Yeah.
Hedonism
Lake Erie is
3, Lake
really
Erie,
good spot
Turkey
for
Point,
this.
Mhm.
a Canadian hedonism where we have
Yes.
Canadian values and it's
Mhm.
very sexy and
Mhm.
it's lots of swingers, but with like a sort of very aggressively Canadian vibe.
Yep.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you find this, Chris, but or Mike, have you been into an all-inclusive before?
In high school, my music department
You
went
went
on
with
a
your
trip.
music teacher?
Well, he was there,
Oh.
but the band went to Nassau in the Bahamas.
Did
to
you get sand in
Paradise
your
Island.
trombone?
That's cool.
I got more than sand in my trombone. Also,
Oh.
conch shell and a bikini.
Whoa.
Wow, you got that in your trombone.
Yeah.
Because
Mirror.
Chris, I know you've been with your family, and I've been with my family, and it's when you go to these all inclusives, it's great to be in the sun, but it is a weird, uncanny vibe, and I actually find it very not sexy. Like I don't know, there's something about the smell of the chlorine in the pool, and I don't know why, but I don't find it a sexy place. And I think if you incorporated like and now people are having sex in the pool at one of these. I don't think I'd find it very alluring. But I want to
Yeah.
go with you guys at to triple the Patreon price. I will go, but
And they've all got like bleached blonde hair and crazy tattoos, and they're all smoking, and
yeah, there's something like not sexy about it. Even
Yeah.
though I'm very happy to go.
they're
when I'm
crushing
gone.
beer cans on their head.
Yeah, and
They're
even
j-
though people are in bikinis and stuff, and it's not. I don't know. It's not like ooh.
So last time we were in the Dominican, like in December,
Mm.
there was this couple that was like, and they were a family with like kids, but I think they were from France. It was like a Club Med
Mm-hmm.
in Dominican, and the husband was tall and super fit and wearing like a Speedo, and the wife was super fit and wearing just a Speedo bottom.
No top.
No top, and I think they were like big fake boobs, you know.
Okay.
But their kids were there too sometimes, so the kids would go swimming. But then the
Were they
couple,
big fake kids as well?
That's kind of weird as a kid.
Yeah.
You look at your,
but they're from France, I guess.
Very
see your mom's
European.
big fake boobs.
Yeah.
I
But
mean, hey, nah, because that's
My
gonna
wife
make
had
you,
an idea that's like, I bet you or someone said, I bet you the resort pays them to go on the beach and like make out and run around on the beach like that.
Wait, they were making out on the beach in front of their kids and stuff?
Maybe the kids were at the day camp because
Was
there
this
was a
in your
day camp for kids too.
imagination?
No,
I'm just kidding.
but there was a part of me where I was like treading water in the ocean, and I was like, "Don't look at this." You know what I mean?
Got to put the sunglasses on.
Yeah, but it was like really interesting because they were like, I would agree with that some couples like that get hired. There, because you know what, it's almost like they changed over, because when we first got there was another couple just like that, and then they left like a day later, and then that couple was on the beach all the time.
Really?
I don't know. I bet you it's like a
That's-
tourist like they pay you to go and bathe at their hotel.
And like you're super hot and you get naked.
Yeah, and you're kind of like sexual.
Wow.
Yeah, I bet you it is. And the Club Med. So then people that are there like, Club Med's awesome. I'm going back forever.
Well, I worked with a woman who
I got a trucker hat from Club Med. I should fucking wear it.
Oh.
Why am I wearing this black one?
I worked with someone who got paid to party in clubs. Actually, she's really, Nicole Arbor. She's a popular right wing.
You worked with her?
Yeah, like 20 years ago.
Oh.
Before
We
she-
ran a little business together. No, we were
Oh.
both hired to do a
We should have
commercial
her on
kind
the
of thing.
show. She's
Yes.
very funny.
Yeah.
Interesting things to say.
Yeah, yeah. I remember her
Is she
telling
still
me.
cracking wise?
Yeah, we haven't kept in touch, but I remember her telling me at the time that clubs would pay her to go party there. So she said,
Really?
"Yeah."
Why?
Well, I guess like Chris was saying, you hire these, young people to hang out in your place, and then other people go, "Hey, this is a place I want to be."
This weekend, come to the beach where you'll see a woman in a bikini talking about eugenics and how we need to close our borders.
It's so funny. It's like, wow, this one couple is shining like a pot of gold, and the rest of us look like trolls on this beach. What gives?
You know, speaking of that kind of whole swinging thing, I kind of wondered if once, I don't know, I could be totally wrong, but like I was single, it was like probably 12 years ago at the Ossington at this bar in Toronto, and I was sitting there.
Was this the night you proposed to Nicole Arbor?
No, and it was nothing to do with Nicole Arbor, but there was a pretty woman, like it was just weird. She was talking to me, and I wasn't seeking talking to her. And anyway, she's talking to me, and then her quiet husband is right next to her the whole time and kind of just observing. And I remember feeling like, what is this?
Mercy.
I remember getting a vibe like, are you quiet husband watching this? What's going on?
Oh yeah.
Did he have a perverted grin on his face?
He kind of did.
I've had that before.
Really?
Not to be like a
No, I want to know too.
yeah, like a girl was at a brewery in Victoria one time, was like, yeah, massaging me all the time, and her boyfriend was right beside me, and I was like,
my God.
looking at him like, is this crazy to you?
Yeah, because you also don't want to be a jerk, like
Yeah.
just make it seem like you're being,
But I think it was like ultimately he's just, I don't know if it was like lining up.
What if
to
they
be
went
a
home that
swinger with
night
me,
and,
but-
and they're having sex and he's like, oh, did you like rubbing Chris's shoulders?
Yeah.
She's
that-
like, yeah.
So, yeah. There's so much hair on it.
It was so hairy. Oh, I bet
Yeah.
you like that.
Huh.
Ossington for sure.
so.
That's what it was. They wanted you.
I don't know. It's the one time in my life I felt like, what's going on here? And she was a pretty woman, and
Be
I
honest.
I was certainly lonely at the time. I was sort of like, hey,
Mercy.
I'd be happy to talk to you, but what's happening here? Maybe they should have just come right out and asked me. Maybe I would have done it. I don't know. I wouldn't have done anything with the guy, but I just mean, you want me
Yeah.
to hang out with your wife? I mean, I
Well,
guess.
sometimes you are doing everything, but the guy's eyes are about 5 inches away from the action.
Oh, I don't want that. If he's in some little room, he's got a little slot he can look through. Fine.
You know what me and my friends at the breakfast today were talking about?
Eggs.
No, we eat breakfast and talk about other things. We're pretty
talking about-
intelligent guys.
Life.
We were talking
Yeah.
about how like John Holmes was this big deal in 70s porn,
Mhm.
but you guys have seen porns with John Holmes in it. You know, the 12-inch penis man.
Well, mostly from looking up, like, what was this guy's deal? I've never
Yeah.
watched one of his videos.
Is
but
he the
I've-
guy who sang Imagine?
Yes.
Imagine all my penis.
And he was shot just for
Yeah.
just for the way he looked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I better
Shot
shoot
in
this guy before I
1980.
fucking suck that thing.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah.
But okay, so listeners, you know how John Holmes has this like 12-inch penis, and it was such a big deal in the 70s. It's so funny, right? Because when you watch those old porns, he's always like thumbing it in, or like he'll
'Cause
take
it's
it away
too unwieldy.
because he'll take it away from the women and be like, "Just let me do it," because it's too big. You can't fill the whole thing
Right.
with blood.
I was chatting with a woman.
That's really
at a-
gross, but
I was chatting with my female friend at a party recently, and she
Dun,
said
tell us this one after too.
she just basically told me big penises suck. And I don't mean that as a double entendre. She's like,
Yeah.
too big, no thank you. It's a pain in the, well, you get what I'm saying. I didn't even mean it in that way either. She just said I don't need that. I don't want that. You know, medium
It's a pain
is
in
fine.
the
Medium is great.
hello
Ideal.
operator. You know, what's that
Maybe men are more like excited by a big penis than a woman in a way. I don't know. Like, oh my God, I've got such a huge penis. Yes. And then
Oh, I'm
ma-
really excited by them. I dance around the fire. Hey, like I didn't mean for that to sound like an
no.
indigenous chant. I just meant it like a celebration.
Yeah, you were just excited and you were dangling it ever closer to the flame to see how close to the flame you can get.
That
it.
is
Yeah.
so sexy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is such a funny, horny intro. But
No,
I really like
no,
it.
my
It's
wife
it's
is
a rare
like-
occasion where we've spent 25 minutes talking about penises.
Yeah.
One day will be a very serious podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, my wife was always tells me I don't like big penises. Don't worry.
Yeah. No, I mean,
I don't want it to be big. Don't worry about it.
But I believe it. I mean, this woman, she had no reason to lie to me. I believe it. I think.
I worked with this guy once
Hmm.
who, and I'm in the same situation as you. It's like, I'll tell you later.
Okay.
But they were
tell you
dating
later.
someone that they loved, and that person was beautiful. But that was an issue with them. Was his barely fit in there, and it hurt the person
Mhm.
that he loved.
Yeah.
Mm.
I could imagine if it must be. I don't know. It must be like, oh
Darling,
God,
what
that's
should we
gonna
do?
that's gonna be like a hurt. Like ugh.
Yeah.
Give me a middle of the road thing.
Yeah. Oh my God! Like, you know, what are you supposed
Yeah,
to do?
but I feel like guys think like, oh yeah, everyone's gonna be wowed by my big thing.
Guys want a
maybe
penis
some
so
women
big
are.
that they can build a house on it and live on their own penis.
You want to be
Yeah.
able to barbecue on the damn thing.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
But what
Get
about
the meat going on the grill.
Guys want a penis so big they can put a Blue Jays hat on it and have a barbecue with their penis as their best friend.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
And whisper secrets to it.
Yeah, don't tell nobody, but you're my penis. Like this with the arm around it. Don't tell anybody. You're my penis. You're my best friend too. You're not gonna tell the cops about anything from last night, are you? Best friends for life. Blood brothers. He cuts a part of his penis and his hand, and they become blood brothers. Me and you, we're in this together. You remember that, right?
The ribs are ready.
The ribs are ready. You can have more than me. You have the bigger piece. I don't care. You're my best friend.
Here, I'll cut it for you.
You hear the cops coming? I think we gotta go. Bring the ribs with us.
If anyone asks, we don't know each other.
This guy keeps following me. And he's stuck in my pants. At the bottom of this guy's stuck in my pants.
You go
man.
this way, I'll go that way.
Yeah, get out of my
Boink.
pants,
Ow,
man.
why did that hurt?
Yeah. Then they arrest the penis, slam the cop door on it, and drive away. Ow, man.
He's being dragged down the street.
Yeah. How could my friend do this to me, man? I trusted you. Then he fights with his giant penis in court. I don't fucking know this guy, man. I was not there. I did not do that.
And you just see a single tear
Yeah.
running down the penis's face because he realizes he's been betrayed.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what the guy thinks, and then he realizes it's urine.
Oh, God.
Yeah, then the penis who's like on trial just starts flooding the court with a huge amount of piss.
You're out of order.
Your Honor, my client is pissing all over the ceiling. And it's raining down on everybody like yellow rain. Oh my God. I trusted you, man. You're dead to me, man. How could you sing like a canary in the court?
Oh. Before we get to our topic this week, let's mention that we have a Patreon account that I alluded to earlier. You can find it at patreon.com/evilmen. And if you sign up for our Patreon, you get 2 bonus episodes a month. We got one coming out with Tim Gilbert where we did a Cosmo quiz with each other. It's going to be excellent. And you get to listen to all our old bonus episodes, which are so good. And you get to join our Discord where you can chat with us and all our other listeners. So please check it out. Patreon.com/evilmen. And also, Mike, we have a live show coming up.
Yes, we do, James. On Saturday, June 28th at 7 p.m., we are returning to the main stage at Comedy Bar on Bloor Street West in downtown Toronto for another edition of Evil Men Live. Get your tickets sooner than later, I would say. We're
Yeah,
gonna
they're
have
selling fast already.
Selling fast. And if you join our Patreon, you get a bit of a discount with a discount code that is exclusive to patrons. But otherwise, the ticket link will be in this show's episode notes. So get on that if you like to laugh and you like to see me and James and Chris in person.
Great job. Great job.
Tickets are selling like thought cakes.
Oh, that could be a sort of dystopian new snack.
Or like,
How
isn't
did you
there
have
a
your
thought,
thought cake?
T-H-O-T? Doesn't that mean something
Oh.
sexy?
Is it like thick, hot?
Yeah, maybe.
What does thought mean?
It means
That hoe over there.
yeah, sorry.
Means
That
what?
That hoe over there.
Really?
That's pretty good.
I had no idea.
Our tickets are selling like thought cakes.
Thought cakes.
I was imagining like a sci-fi world where it's like, I bought 2 thought cakes today,
Yeah.
and you get a couple thoughts in your head that you wouldn't have had otherwise.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I had to use all of my ration billets to get them, so don't waste them.
Yeah. You're only allowed thoughts if you buy a thought cake.
Yeah.
Also, please give us 5 stars on Spotify. And if you do subscribe to our Patreon, we thank you and we love you.
And Apple too.
Oh, and please give us 5 stars on Apple as well.
Oh, also, start a band with us. Whatever instrument you play.
Yep, absolutely.
Doesn't matter. We'll bang, we'll clang the ding-dong day away.
Yeah.
All through the night.
James Hartnett, I see that you've pulled out your Apple laptop there. And part of me thinks maybe you're surfing the net, and the other part of me thinks you're about to read your Google document with this week's Evil Men topic. And I have to ask you, who is this week's Evil Man topic?
Well, let me give you 3 clues.
Oh, God.
I
I'm
hate
nervous.
games.
I'm scared.
I haven't had dinner yet.
I haven't had dinner yet.
The clues are and that's the first clue.
starting
Was that
the
a bird?
squawk and then
Was it-
clearing your throat
was
to
that a
squawk
bird?
better.
A bird with phlegm in
It's
its throat.
something
Excuse
something
me.
clearing its throat. And then what was the other one?
Do the first one again. No, do the first one again because we laughed like maniacs.
Okay.
That's a seagull.
And then
Okay.
what do those sounds
What?
make you think of?
Reminds me of my uncle when I was a child who ate a lot of beans.
Yeah, some sort of farting sailor man.
Is it Popeye the Farting Man?
No. Those are the sounds made by orca whales.
Oh.
Folks, we're doing orca whales this
Free
week.
Oh,
Willy.
right.
Yes. This was suggested by David Deneen Porter, our friend
Yes.
and listener.
And a very timely topic given what's happening in the news these days in America.
Oh, we're going to get to that.
Oh, I wish DDP was here, but instead he's working hard in I Miss the Rains Down in America.
Toto's coming to Toronto. I might go see them this summer.
Call me when Dorothy's coming.
Wow.
Yes.
Some really good.
Oh, by the way, James,
Mm.
my condolences. It looks like you may never see Billy Joel in concert because he
Right.
has brain disease.
That sucks. Yeah, Ebony and I had tickets like 2 months ago,
Yeah.
and he canceled.
Shit,
and-
what kind
yeah.
of brain disease?
He said it's some sort of brain condition. I'm not sure exactly,
my
but there's
God.
pressure on his brain. So,
That sucks.
Jesus Christ. Well, there's pressure on mine.
Yeah.
God, like.
so instead
Yeah,
of,
but not like the
yeah.
pressure he's got. Trust me.
Can you believe that the man who wrote Piano Man or River of Dreams has a brain condition?
Sing us the song. You're the. Ow. Ow. What is that?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
No, I know. He's like, here's the thing with Billy Joel, incredible musician. Really sad to hear about his brain thing.
Billy, we're thinking of your brain.
But I always felt like he wrote a hit song in the style of another artist that already had like their style.
What's the matter with the brain I'm using?
what I mean?
Can't you tell that
I
it's
know what you
out of
mean, but
touch?
I'm not like the biggest Billy Joel person, but David is, and Ebony is, and I know
Yeah.
others. And I mean, people. I feel like I can't make an adequate argument against what you're sort of saying, but I think there are people listening that really would.
Oh, for sure. And they would kill me. It's like
Mhm.
going to a biker bar and say Motorhead.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to say it. But I love Motorhead.
Right.
But I remember when I was a kid, I didn't get Motorhead yet, and I was down at Rotate This here in Toronto.
Yeah.
Thank you. I think
Maybe
I have
you
a
do
brain
have pressure on your brain.
I
Yeah.
Do you remind me of
do.
Billy Joel?
I do.
Hmm.
But yeah, at the time I was being ignorant about Motorhead a little bit. I was like, I don't get it. Like it just smell like the band looks like they smell like cigarettes or whatever. Like trying to be funny.
Mm-hmm.
And a guy was like, I know so many people who would kill you right now.
Wow.
And I was like, right.
There are so many Motorhead fans in Toronto right now who would kill you.
Probably right.
Well, it's the same thing. Don't go in a biker bar and say you don't like Weezer.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially-
Don't do that.
Especially if
Especially
you're the cops.
post Pinkerton.
If you're the cops and Weezer's bassist wife is there, there's going to be a shootout.
Yeah, that's right. What a weird story.
But I do really love Motorhead, and I do like Billy Joel. But that's not a critique against him. It's just what I thought about him. Once I got older and I heard other artists, I'm like, this is Billy Joel's this such and such song. This is Billy Joel's such and such other.
Sing us a
person.
song, you're the piano man.
Yeah, like that's an Elton John song to me.
Still Rock and Roll to me sounds like an Elvis Costello song to me.
You know what I'm
And
saying?
She's Always a Woman sounds like a Bob Dylan song.
That's what I'm saying. Like he does.
And River of Dreams sounds like the Paul Simon
Yeah.
South African album. What's it
Yeah,
called?
but he released it
Graceland.
like 3 years later or
Yeah.
something. Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. Like
But
he's a great songwriter, but Billy Joel is I'm doing what I hear right now.
Interesting.
I will get killed.
Yeah,
I know.
I
And-
like Billy Joel. I not enough to properly dispute what you're saying.
and now he's copying all those athletes who are suffering from brain damage.
Right.
I mean, Billy, when are you gonna get an original idea?
And I do like Billy Joel. Have you ever seen that metal band that he was, or that hard rock band that he was a part of before?
Attila.
Yeah, Attila.
Yeah.
Have you seen it, James?
No.
Check out the album covers of Attila. Him and his bandmate look amazing.
Oh, cool.
I'll find it.
Yeah, find it.
What's the matter with your Billy Joel research? James, don't you know you're out of touch?
Well, I'm sad. Yeah, maybe we never get to see him.
I'm sorry. For anybody who's seriously, I'm sorry. I'm
Now, yeah.
saying that as a music nerd, not as like
Chris, we have to be on the
I don't
lookout now
wanna
for
hurt
angry Billy
somebody.
Joel and Motorhead fans.
I
Yeah, you
love
guys are
Motorhead.
screwed.
Might come after us.
Oh my god. No, but I was a young idiot that didn't get it at the time. I love Motorhead.
I was
And I like Billy Joel.
Well, while you're looking up Billy Joel's heavy metal album, let me tell you a few things about Orcas.
That's Billy
Okay, I'm
Joel
looking-
with the mustache.
Oh, wow. They look cool.
Look.
Yeah. He looks kind of like Robespierre. Like he looks like a
Yeah.
Renaissance French guy.
Yeah.
There you go. On YouTube, if you pause and take a screenshot of your screen and zoom in, you will be able to see Billy Joel. Or just Google it. Billy Joel and the band Attila.
Attila.
I forgot we're not doing Billy Joel or Attila. We're doing Orcas.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you a few things. And then, you might think, oh, whatever, Orcas.
Let me tell you something.
Let me tell you something. Doing this research, I was amazed. I was intrigued. And I'll be honest, I even had a moment of feeling a little emotional.
Really? Reading about orcas?
I did.
Even
And-
though they're evil.
No, well,
Were you emotional reading about Orcas because of what's happening with Billy Joel?
well, yeah, because I want someday him to ride an orca. Well, let me tell you a bit about orcas. So, they're known as orca whales or killer whales, right? That's how they're colloquially known.
Killer whale tank. Remember that?
No.
There's a live version of New Orleans is Sinking by the Tragically Hip that they used to play
Oh.
on the radio, and he did a big monologue in the middle when there was they broke it down, and he
Ah.
told a story about going to a aquarium and seeing a
Yep.
killer whale in the killer whale tank.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. You know what? Nice to add the little tidbit to the research.
Can I add something?
Yes.
I just want to say to both James and Mike.
Okay. Is this
You
about
guys are-
Motorhead?
No, I love Motorhead though.
Okay.
Ace of Spades.
But you guys, both of you, individually and as a team, are so very patient with me.
Oh,
And
That's
supportive.
really kind of you to say.
And I really appreciate it.
Wow.
Thank you.
Chris.
No, thank you.
Well-
I'm taking this moment to say thank you.
I hear you, and I
Sometimes I
appreciate
say
that.
funny jokes. Sometimes I say really unfunny jokes.
Mhm.
Sometimes I stall the podcast brutally.
No way.
Yes, I do.
Give me 10 examples.
Sometimes they're out there. Sometimes I digress ad infinitum. And you guys are always patient with me and you let me get it out of my system and we get back on track, mostly thanks to you.
Well, that's really nice for you to say. I see as part of, I have my, part of what makes the podcast good is to facilitate Chris achieving full Chrisness. And
Wow,
so that is how I
thanks.
partially look at it.
Well, I would say all three of us imbue this podcast with thick ropes of the artist's spirit
Oh,
Yes.
individually.
I think that's a lovely
yeah.
way to put it.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah, it kind of makes me think of jizz, but yes.
I mean,
We say thick ropes.
we haven't recorded 600 episodes to not mention jizz before. I mean, come
That's
on.
true.
This is our
hmm.
600th episode.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that compliment, Chris. And
No, thank you. I'm taking the time to say thank you. Now, what were we talking about? Billy Joel or
No,
Motorhead?
orca whales. Now, they're known as killer whales, and if you kind of forget what they look like, they're those big fish that have those black and white patches.
Yeah, they're like swimming yin yang symbols.
Yeah, they look like panda bears, kind of.
Aw, the pandas of the sea.
Kind of.
But a panda would never kill anybody. They fall out of trees all the time.
Not as adorable, possibly, as pandas. Now, they're also not whales. They are considered part of the dolphin family. They're really big dolphins.
No
What?
way, dude.
Yeah, they're really big dolphins. They're big. They're around 5 to 10 meters in length. I meant to write down what that is in feet, and I forgot to.
Yo, what was Free Willy?
I should have looked that up. I don't remember. Oh, it looks like I have Wi-Fi here. Let me look it up.
I know
What
Moby Dick is a
was-
sperm whale, so if Free Willy is a sperm whale, we're in big trouble.
Free
Yeah.
Willy, I think, was a fucking... Yeah, Free Willy was inspired by the real-life story of Kiko, an orca. So Free Willy was an orca.
Kiko.
What about Echo the dolphin? Oh, that was a dolphin.
the dolphin.
Hey, the ending of Moby Dick is insane, eh? When they open his head and 2 orcas were driving him the whole time.
So an orca is 22,000 pounds, and it's the largest cetacean, which are sea mammals, including whales, dolphins, and porpoises. They're not bigger than whales. That can't be right. I wrote down a wrong fact.
Do you ever think?
But they're big.
Do you ever go to the ocean and think, "What is my porpoise?" Let me ask you this: if you're sunbathing on the beach and an orca jumped out of the ocean and landed on you, 22,000 pounds, do you think you'd be okay?
No, I don't think so, actually. I
Huh.
think you get crushed.
That's the one thing preventing me from booking a trip to Hedonism 2.
Oh, in case an orca leaps out.
I'd hate to be swinging with a pile of babes and then
Yeah.
get squished by an orca, you know?
Oh my God, I'd hate for an orca to see my butt going up and down in a pile of sweaty humans. I'd be embarrassed that it would swim back and tell everyone in Aquaman's village
Or for
what's going on up there.
Or for an orca to see you sitting uncomfortably in a chair while your partner that you went to swing with has intercourse with a bunch of men, and
Yeah.
you can't get any women to have intercourse with you.
Have you ever heard of spit roasting?
I believe I have.
Oh my God. Imagine an orca saw your wife spit roasting 2 men that weren't you, and you're sitting there eating grapes.
That is the plot of Free Willy.
Is it?
Yeah.
How long?
Well, there's a few different Free Willies out there. There's
Oh.
Free Willy on Disney, and there's Free Willy on X Hamster.
You know that Michael Jackson only did the theme song for Free Willy because he thought that it was that Free Willy was a boy. He didn't know that it was an orca.
Right. So you
Yeah.
freeze Willie.
Yeah.
You're never gonna let Michael Jackson forget it, eh, Mike?
Oh, I gotta be in my bonnet. Anyway,
You have bee in your bonnet? What, about all the kid stuff?
Michael.
Um,
That rub you the wrong way?
how long would you guess orcas live,
I'd say 100 years.
Chris?
73.
90 around. They can live up to 90. Very similar
Oh,
to
both me and Mike
humans.
are totally right.
Yep, pretty much. Now, this is kind of interesting. They live with their families. They're like an Italian guy living with his mom, you know? They live with their families,
Orca.
and they're called pods. And
you gonna get married?
well, yeah.
Mom.
They literally live with their moms. They have a matriarchal society led by an older female.
That's
and they all
awesome.
stay together for life.
That's awesome.
Speaking of Billy Joel, you know, it's kind of like a New York, you know what I mean? And so like they'll have pods with as few as, you know, maybe 5 to 30 orcas, but sometimes the pods are up to 100 in size.
You know when Billy
Oh.
Joel sing us the song "You're the Piano Man"?
Mhm.
The piano man is his mom. He's singing about.
Oh my God. That's insane.
Sing us a song. I still live
Piano
with the
mom.
piano mom. See, I say bad ones too.
So they're really social animals. They live in these pods their whole lives. They rely on like teamwork. They have social bonds. Their social bonds are so strong that they've seen orcas caring for orphaned calves or injured pod members, displaying a level of empathy rarely seen in wild animals.
That's nice. Now, would 2 of them swim side by side so I could stand 1 foot on each one and act like I'm skiing across the ocean?
I honestly believe it could happen. From
Okay.
I'm not kidding. From
No, no.
videos I saw.
No, it sounds like it from your research.
So yeah, they got a complex social structures. Now,
So it's kind of like ants and bees.
yeah, they're the only animals with more complex social structures are elephants and higher primates. Elephants have I didn't know that. Elephants have complex social structures?
Yeah. No, like, have you ever
They
seen
got a
videos?
girlfriend, they got the girl you don't tell your girlfriend about.
They got side elephants.
Yeah, she's just when you saw her trunk, you know what you know
Yeah.
why.
Where's your trunk? What? It's over here.
Let me
So
smell
what?
your trunk.
Yeah, it smells like another elephant's pussy. I'm so sorry. That's crass.
No.
I love being polite, but
Being polite.
but making a joke is sometimes it just comes out of you like a possessed girl in The Exorcist.
Yeah.
Pussy. Sorry. That is
No.
so gross and crass. I apologize.
Not at all.
But it wasn't me. It was the angry elephant saying it.
So yeah,
So they have a complex.
So they've got these pods. It's as many as 4 generations, and they're kind of like made up of like maybe a few family lines.
Now, what does the name
led by
Orca
the-
mean?
It is from the name Orcinus orca. It's a Latin, like the genealogy.
Okay.
I don't know what it means, but they call them orca whales or killer whales.
So a family of orcas coming at you, are they called an orchestra?
Yes.
Why aren't I out on the sea documenting everything?
Trying to find the name. Oh, honestly, doing this research, it made me want to. I'm not kidding.
You know what? That's the show we pitch for Evil Men.
We go on a
The
boat.
3 of us are like, what's his name?
Like Richard Attenborough, or
Charles
David
Darwin's
Attenborough?
on the
Oh.
fucking sea, documenting everything
We're
we
gonna be
see.
the first people to discover an orca.
What's that? Yeah, but we'll learn more in depth.
We'll learn French. We'll find an
Well, here's the
orca.
thing: we got the layman's impression of the wild nature of life. So it's almost like, yeah, Charles Darwin was a genius biologist or something. Say whatever he was. But what if idiots did what he did?
Yeah,
That's
we
the show.
go to Galapagos.
Charles
and,
Dumbwin.
It's pretty good.
Charles Dar. They don't even finish his last name. And that's Charles Dar with the evil
We
men.
come up with a new theory of evolution, or a new theory. It doesn't even have to be evolution.
Yes.
And it's we make a case
Yeah.
that animals didn't evolve, or we have our own spin on it.
Coming up next,
Yeah.
an all new episode with your favorite guys, Mike, Chris, and James, and a new episode of Charles Dar.
Dar. Like they talk like
Charles
Barth
Dar.
from You Can't Do That on Television.
Dar. So
Next up on Charles Dar. Hey, look, an orchestra is swimming towards us.
Now, how about this?
Okay.
Male orcas almost always mate with females from other pods. So they don't
So they know.
incest is a taboo for whales, for orcas, just as much as humans.
So they're not like European royalty.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
hopefully they didn't sort of create a sort of sexual taboo that their pornography then features this kind of thing all the time.
right.
They
Well, you know what happens when 2 orcas that are related have sex?
Hmm?
Their offspring just swim down.
Oh, okay, well, yeah.
Head into the sand first.
um,
The floor of the sea.
yeah.
Dar.
No,
What? What is wrong? It's not funny or is it offensive?
no, I have
Both.
no objection at all. I'm threading the
Both.
line of
I think it's great, and more people need to talk about this.
I don't know why I'm having I literally didn't have a caffeinated tea. It's ginger
Yeah.
with some honey in it.
I think
I
you're being
don't know
great.
why I'm going
Wow.
crazy.
I think you're being great. I love it. Please go wild. Go
All right.
wild. Now, orcas live literally around the entire Earth. I looked at a map of their habitat. It's all oceans except the Arctic, basically.
Have you seen
Smart.
how big some of the oceans are? I'm not asking you, James, because I know you're interested in that kind of stuff. Mike,
They're like the size of like 20 football fields.
have you ever seen a picture of the ocean, Mike?
Yeah, you could play 20 games of American football in it.
There's like 20
Probably
football
19,
fields long.
19 Canadian because we have longer
Yes.
end
Yeah.
zones. Yeah. No, there's
It's big.
You ever see that view
Oh,
of the Earth?
like,
there is a view
yes,
of the Earth that's just
All
ocean.
That's what I was going to say.
It's
Have you ever
just
seen that,
ocean.
Mike?
Yes.
There's if you looked at the Earth from a certain angle, you just see
Yeah.
ocean.
It's a lot of wet stuff.
70% water.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It's like, and we're 75. So it's like, are we the Earth?
I mean, it's a good question.
This is like, no one fucking talks about biology like we do on Evil Men. That's why I'm saying this is how we. This is the angle we go.
Exactly. I love it.
I know.
I'm not even kidding. Learning about this animal was really thrilling.
And I'm being a goof right now, but it did not affect me when you said that you were emotional doing the research.
Well, I get to the end, but because I think they're really smart.
I will cry. I'll cry with you.
Yeah.
I don't give a fucking
That's like,
shit
I have
anymore.
a few triggers of reading stuff, and like animals being smarter than we think and we're not that great to them makes me actually emotionally upset.
Dude, you know how fucking smart pigs are?
I know.
And sausages and bacon
I feel
is so
really
good.
bad about that.
Me too. We'll never fix it.
I know. Maybe lab grown meat. Is there any way that's good?
Lab grown orca? Can they do that?
I think.
I would love it.
Well, okay. So orca whales actually have the second biggest distribution range on Earth behind one other animal.
Humans.
So they're super adaptable. Now get this. So you got these orca pods all over the world, right? And the different pods have like different, basically literally cultures. They differ in diet, they differ in behavior.
This is actually blowing my mind.
Yeah, so like you got a pod. There are some pods that are transient that just roam around and they hunt like marine mammals. And you got some pods that just live in a place, like ones in the Pacific Northwest. They kind of just feed on fish and salmon and stuff.
Okay, can I say something? As you're like a huge sci-fi fan.
Yeah.
Probably, I love it, but probably the biggest out of the three of it.
Mm.
You must be having so much fun saying pod over and over again.
I admit, I'm not hating it. I'll put it that way. So now let's talk about their communication. This is where I think it starts. to
But
get
like, in
interesting.
what is? Do you have two examples of two different cultures according to pod?
Yeah, they literally have different like noises and stuff.
Do
Like
ones in the Mediterranean or around like
I
France stuff like Europop?
yeah, and do we have like some cool Rasta Jamaican orcas?
literally, there probably is the equivalent.
Don't
really
worry
chill.
about a thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, they literally in different pods. Like you'll have a pod over in Jamaica, and they literally have like a different language, or almost maybe it's like a different accent than a pod in Canada. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, I love that.
They literally have basically accents.
I love that. It's crazy. So like,
It's nuts. And if they met each other, they'd be like, "Oh, we communicate differently, and we eat
Yeah.
different things."
yeah, they go ooh, man, and then
Yes.
Canadians go ooh, eh.
Yes, literally.
But honestly, like Rastafarians can smoke weed as part of their. It's not illegal for them if they're in a place where it's illegal because it's part of their religion.
Yeah.
Do orcas have that from Jamaica?
orcas in Jamaica they can't smoke weed because they're underwater most of the
But they eat
time, but they
gummies.
can eat
Oh,
gummies. Yeah.
That's not cool.
So they've got massive brains, right?
Sounds like it.
So they have this sophisticated communication, like we were talking about.
yeah.
They communicate, and I listened to some. They do clicks, they do whistles, they do pulsed calls, and they're unique to their own pod. The way that they talk, they had literally each pod has its own dialect passed down through generations. They literally
Wow.
learn
I'm
from their
sincerely
parents how to
blown
speak
away.
to each other.
I'm sincerely blown away.
Yeah, and they have sounds for objects, and now get this. Now it's just mimicking. Obviously, they don't understand. But in 2018, an orca named Wiki imitated human speech, uttering noises mimicking the human sounds. You can listen to it, and it kind of says like hello, bye bye, and 1, 2, 3. It's mimicking it, but it's fucking crazy.
The T for two.
It's like pretty rough, but they're like bye bye, and it's like bye bye. Like not
Wait,
even
they're
worse than
mimicking
that.
humans?
Yes,
Who?
like they're in. I don't know if they were in captivity or just being
Okay.
studied, but the human is like saying to the orca
Right.
bye bye. Like they clearly taught it,
Yeah.
But you're right.
This is blowing my mind.
but it's like a parrot,
Yeah, yeah.
or you know what I mean?
Bye bye.
Yeah, you can look it up. It's nuts. And
Hello.
I also love watching videos of really advanced like parrots that are like what do
Me
they call them?
too.
African greys.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Parrots that can speak really well are insane.
I like the Minar bird.
Oh yeah.
I think they do, like, they'll hear construction and just, like, imitate all
Yeah.
those noises.
A bunch of Michael Winslows.
Yeah, they literally are. Oh my god, I probably sent it to you. There was like a parrot. Yeah, and it's like, yeah, they're literally like, shut the hell up. You know, they say stuff that they hear each other.
Yeah.
Oh my
Am I
god.
a parrot? Whoa, dude.
Oh my god.
Am I a parrot or am I like you? What?
We had a
I
parrot
never said
growing-
that. How did it know that?
We had a parrot growing up, and it would say, "Give us a kiss." It would say, "Cheeky boy," and "Give us a kiss." I'm not kidding. It would be like, "Cheeky boy," and then it would go, "Give us a kiss." And I would communicate. I would talk to the parrot because it would.
Did you buy it off a pirate?
No, my uncle, who was a merchant marine, gave it to
Yeah,
my
there you
mom.
go.
It was like 30 years old.
I love that.
It was a yellow-bellied Senegal. It was like a little guy.
It sounds like it grew up in like a,
Yeah,
I don't, what's the word? What's the polite word for it? A brothel.
yeah, kind of that life.
Cheeky boy.
And I used to communicate
a
with
kiss.
it. If you went, it would go like this. I don't know if the mic can pick it up, but like, and you would reply, or you would go, and it would go. Like that's how
Did you love it?
Yeah, I mean, he was really mean. He was like, he would put his head down and want you to tickle it, and then sometimes he'd rip his head up and bite you. Like he was crazy.
Yeah.
But he was really, I mean, you could like
What was
have a
his
little
name?
communication with it. Bambi. Yeah, I don't
One
know why.
summer when I was a teen, I had
I think it was a
to
woman too.
live in this lady's boarding house.
Okay.
I was helping my uncle build log cabin homes in like far away, but so he didn't have room at his place. But I stayed in a lady's boarding house for a summer.
Okay.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. One time I got a box of Crispers out of
Wait,
the,
what is this
of
related
the
to?
cupboard, and,
Did she have a parrot?
and I was so hungry I wanted a snack, and the Crispers were covered with tiny little bugs. That fucked me up. But anyways, she had a parrot, and I was trying to teach it to say "Chris is cool" like the whole summer. It never
man.
did. But I would pet its beak and stuff, and it was cool.
Crispers with bugs on them.
Yeah.
He over
Don't
here.
eat those.
But like this parrot never would talk its ass off, but not if you were there. Anytime a
that's
human
so
left,
Self-conscious.
yeah, it was like it stayed in the corner by these windows by the kitchen in a cage. But yeah, I'd be there all fucking day trying to get it to talk, and then as soon as I left, it'd be like, "Well, at least he's gone." Jesus Christ! But it talked like for its ass off.
The fucker's gone.
Yeah, fuck you. Who are you, honestly?
Well, there's a Guardian article written by a zoologist named Jules Howard where he talks about the orcas mimicking sounds for food. And he really made the case that we really need to study orcas much more because they do communicate with each other. And he really felt we could be able to achieve cross-species communication in some way or
this
another.
about dolphins too. So how
Yeah.
far apart? Well, I guess the orca is like a smarter,
kind of
slightly
dolphin.
smarter dolphin.
I don't know. Yeah. Oh my God. You know what we should do as a topic? That story about in the 70s, I think, this group of scientists studied dolphins and lived with dolphins in like a house that was like covered in water.
Is this the guy that fell in love with the dolphin?
No, but maybe. But the woman who like, she had these friendships with these dolphins, but there was a Radiolab article episode about it, but it got weird because she would jerk the dolphins off.
Yeah,
And then people are like, wait a second here. Like,
yeah,
this is getting weird.
yeah. But the dolphin told me to see, and then they rewind a tape and play it, and the dolphin's like, and it's like, okay, sure. You want to be jacked off? Sure.
I
You're
don't.
like,
I think this was a Reddit thread I read or something. But then it seemed like it was kind of common where people were like, "Oh yeah, my grandma will basically get off her parrot." Like some people will
So
get their
animals that can
off.
talk end up getting jacked up.
Yeah, I'm never doing that.
Excuse
I don't
me,
care
Grandma.
how horny Wally my cat
People
is.
have done that with horses, I think.
Oh, I mean, don't do that. I mean, I guess like what is the argument? I guess they're horny. I'm helping them, but I mean, come on.
Well, speaking of evil men, back in the olden days, which is only like 50, 60 years ago, they used to send women who were quote unquote hysterical to doctors, and the doctors would literally quote unquote frig them.
I mean, that is truly horrific.
Like, it's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I always like freak when I remember that.
It's horrible. It's horrible.
I always freak when I remember that.
You're driving your car.
You wake up in the dead of night in
Yeah.
a cold sweat.
Driving down a dark road, all you can see in my headlights illuminating just rows of trees ahead of me. Oh! Oh!
A man nearly caused a crash today when he freaked when he remembered something.
When he remembered frigging. Now I feel bad about using the word frig, which is a good one to throw in the mix.
Yeah, frig.
Okay, but let's get to why orcas are a little bit scary. Okay, because like honestly, they're incredible. Like learning about how advanced they are and their complex society is really incredible. But they are
Chapter
scary.
3. Why orcas be like that?
They're apex predators. That means they have no natural predators. They're in the ocean. They're the boss.
Why are the smartest animals on the planet apex predators? Does it have something? It's not just a coincidence, is it? Tune in again at Charles Dar.
What was that voice? Why were you doing like Jimmy Stewart?
It turned into something like that.
Is it that
It's not a coincidence, is
a
it?
6 foot tall white rabbit?
How come I have vertigo every time she's around?
So they're really crazy hunters and they coordinate together with these crazy strategies. So like there's a pod and they do it. It changes depending on the pod. So there's a pod in Patagonia that will intentionally beach themselves, kind of like pretend they're beached, and then just to trick
Whoa.
sea lions and like eat them and wriggle back into the
Have
ocean.
you seen footage of that?
No, but I did see footage from Planet Earth of a different one, and it's crazy. So on Planet Earth, you can look it up on YouTube.
I must have seen it.
These orcas are in the Antarctic, and they're hunting a seal, right? They're looking for food, and there's these 3 orcas, and they have a drone shot above it, and they're like right in a row. It's actually scary, like these big orcas, like in line with each other, almost like they're an army. And one of them spots a seal and makes a noise to alert the others, okay? And this seal is on like a big giant iceberg, just kind of like, I'm not going in the water. There's orcas out there. So the 4 orcas, they swim side by side, fast, right at the iceberg. It's not a huge iceberg. It's like, I don't know, size of a football field or something, or maybe less, baseball diamond. And they swim really fast under the iceberg, and as they do it, it creates a wave that goes over the iceberg and like sort of knocks the seal down.
Right.
And it starts breaking up the iceberg, and they keep doing it, but they can't quite knock the seal off the iceberg. Like the waves go up over the iceberg and like hit the seal.
Sounds like a boring part of a video game.
It was pretty amazing to watch. And
But that-
eventually
yeah.
they push the iceberg to where they can get a better run at it. And the seal's just like, oh shit. And,
fuck.
and they do it again, and the wave knocks the seal into the ocean. And then they don't even just eat it right away because they don't want to get, injured. They go under the seal, blow a ton of bubbles, and it disorients the seal, and it's like, and then they fucking go up and eat it. It's crazy. And
I gotta watch it.
the behind the scenes on the behind the scenes video, the producer is like, it was the most insane thing I've ever seen in my life. They also will play with their prey to death. And there's a National Geographic video
Been there.
of orca whales fucking with a seal. That is maybe the one reason you'd give them a tiny score on the evilometer. They basically toy with a seal for like 2 hours before eating it. They are literally playing volleyball with the seal. I'm not kidding. The seals in the water, they're using their tails to like whap it like 20 feet in the air, and it goes over to this part of the ocean, and then another seal is there and he whaps it up in the air. It's actually crazy and really horrific. They are really fucking with this seal. It's nuts. Like, so they've got some like darkness a little bit. I mean, they're animals, but I mean, it was disturbing a little bit.
When animals fuck with something like that or play like that, it's hard to not think of them as being conscious of that in an intelligent way.
I know. And I thought about my evil score because I'm like, no, they're a 0 because they're so cool and smart. But then I'm like, but if you do, think they have some intelligence, then you kind of gotta, give them a little score because they're really torturing their prey.
Yeah.
Here's,
Okay.
Mhm.
One animal all of a sudden takes over the planet.
Mhm.
More so than humans,
Mhm.
and battles us and starts winning battles against us.
Mhm.
Which animals would you want it to be? Which creature?
That starts killing us?
like,
yeah,
that
like
I think
dominating planet Earth.
that I think could beat us, or that I would be happy to see it inherit the earth.
Maybe both.
Okay, well, clearly, if like gorillas,
This is a
Had it-
segment of on Charles Darr, by the way.
because apparently, like they don't really understand how we went from our brains kind of going from these kind of humanoid like primates basically to where we are now. They don't really understand what happened that we kind of went like bing and like about 100,000 years ago, where suddenly we're using language and we have reason and we're
Yeah.
making tools. Like that jump is people don't really understand why.
Well, it's because the architect came and visited the planet.
But if gorillas had that moment,
Yeah.
I mean, they would wipe us. They would kill us.
Have you seen the video? I couldn't even finish watching it, where they're showing they introduced a robotic baby gorilla into the wild by these like real gorilla pack,
Yeah.
and yeah,
What had
it's great.
happened? What happened?
They got it to trust it after a while.
No way.
And but then a little baby gorilla is beating its chest at the robot gorilla, and then they have it, and that's a sign for a little like an adult gorilla doing that means dominance.
Yeah.
A little kid gorilla going "Dah," like banging his chest means let's play
Right.
to another little guy.
Yeah.
Then they get the controls to get the robot baby gorilla to do its chest too. So like bang its chest. So then the real gorilla kid gets excited, jumps over to play with the robot gorilla, knocks it over. So then the gorilla's kind of like, it can't, I don't know if they
Like an Energizer bunny on its side.
but that's when I stopped watching because I was like actually upset. Like, don't fuck with
yeah.
this baby gorilla
How could
that's
you
like
possibly
happy
explain to them that that's a
Yeah.
robot?
yeah, sorry, we did this. We had to film this for Instagram.
I love those videos where like a little baby gorilla or chimp is like messing around with its big dad.
Yeah.
And the dad's like, shut up. And like
Yeah.
playfully but firmly is like, stop poking me.
And that's
laughs.
what being a dad is like.
Yeah.
For my experience. My kids climb all over me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like my youngest kid touches everybody's face and we're like, stop it. And they are having so much fun. But we're like, ew, jam fingers. You know what I mean? Jam fingers.
I have one
Yeah.
story that's
But
pretty.
yeah, I like your idea of gorillas taking over
Oh yeah.
with
Sorry.
getting like. But I guess that's Planet of the Apes.
But what if they have this moment we had?
Yeah.
I read in that book Entangled Life that you watched the documentary on about mushrooms.
Yeah.
And I think he kind of speculated that maybe it was somehow our ingestion of mushrooms that led to this.
Yeah, me too. I believe that. Like all this thing opening a different chamber of the mind.
Like why? Because we are just apes.
Yeah.
Why did we? I mean, it's true.
We're taking over the areas that Joe Rogan's podcast
Yes,
used to
now
do.
that you can't
now
listen
that
to him
he's
'cause he
Christian.
sucks.
Now that
Yeah.
he's a hardcore Christian, he'll never have these fun combos anymore. I don't
Yeah.
think God would want apes to take
Now when
mushrooms.
it's going to be about aliens, it's going to be about like, are they Christian? Are
yeah.
they Christian aliens?
Are aliens Christian? I don't want to talk to him.
I would want skunks to take over.
There we go. The
Oh.
owner of Skunkor.
Skunk or Stinkor.
Stinkor,
Yes.
sorry. Well, I'll tell you, a
Mhm.
couple years ago, it did feel like the skunks were taking over my neighborhood.
Every time you go outside at night, skunks everywhere.
Stinkor, get out of
Yeah,
here.
I gotta get some
Perfume.
perfume.
From shoppers.
Glade plugins for the street.
Oh, yeah.
We got a big bunny in my neighborhood now. And
Really?
he shows up like almost every night I walk home late by myself. There's the big bunny.
How
Wow.
big?
Well, yeah, we were talking about Harvey earlier.
Yeah.
No, but it's No, it's like
Hi,
it's like how the
Chris.
raccoons get in the city. It's
Yeah.
like they probably eat fries.
And then they shit right outside my bedroom window.
Yeah, they eat
Yeah.
beef patties and fries and take a shit.
These raccoons are turning you away from being an animal lover.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
Oh.
that's what it is.
The other day I said to Suze, I have mine to put some poison outside my bedroom window.
Yeah, but then you'll have a corpse in your back porch.
But you can make a cool hat like Davy
Yes.
Crockett.
Yeah.
Yes.
And free body pillow
Yes.
because you're sleeping alone with your girlfriend in another country.
Yeah. I'll
Yeah.
sleep on the dead raccoon. Just to remind me of being with someone.
But you are going to the UK again soon.
Yes.
Please get off the plane and meet Suze with a Davy Crockett raccoon hat on,
That you killed yourself.
and be like, "Hey, here's your Canadian boyfriend, eh?"
Huh? Huh?
So I do have one crazy story
Oh fuck!
that I looked up in
I forgot we
multiple
were doing
sources.
a podcast. To be honest,
I looked up in multiple sources, and this seems to be true. So there is a story from the early 1900s about killer whales in New Eden, South Wales, New Zealand, who helped whalers hunt whales.
oh god,
So there's this tradition in this part of New Zealand. The indigenous people there, the Yuin tribe, they kind of have this relationship with orcas. They believe orcas are their totem animals, and they've always had this history of collaborating with orcas and their legends and all that stuff.
that's cool.
So now there have been collaborations documented between dolphins and humans, like with fishing and stuff. Like dolphins can kind of weirdly help and take part in a crazy way, like normal other dolphins. But it's rare with killer whales. But yeah, so these killer whales in this place called Twofold Bay helped the European whalers hunt whales. So what would happen is there was one orca that they called Old Tom. And when there was a baleen whale out nearby, Old Tom would swim up to the mouth of this river and like breach the river and slap his tail and stuff. And he'd like, according to the story, he would alert the whalers that there was a whale nearby. So they'd go and hunt the whale after this. And like while they're harpooning the whale, the orcas would like even grab the ropes and like, so they say, aid the whalers in hauling. And in return for their help, the whalers, after they'd catch the whale, would toss the carcass overnight into the water, and the killer whales would eat its tongue and lips. And this is in a museum in South.
Wait, so it got a trade off.
Yeah,
It was
they
like,
would be
here it
like,
is,
"There's
but give me the
whale."
tongue and
Psh, psh,
lips.
psh, psh, psh. Then the ship would go out, hunt the whale, and leave the carcass, and then they'd eat the carcass.
It's like when a disheveled man holds the door open for you at a Jamaican beef patty restaurant. Then
And you
you
give
give
him-
him the nub of your patty.
The tongue and the
I'm so glad you said that. It's exactly like that.
Yeah, if the whalers were there, would the killer whale eat the whole baleen whale?
Yeah, so they're like getting ripped off by helping.
But they must have not been able to take it down on their own.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not that implausible that they learned like this boat thing will help us get our dinner. I kind of could see that.
Well, they
It's
could
not that-
mimic the sailors too, remember? So they pop out of the water and go, "Yo, hook me up," and then that's a good deal.
And
I'm
this-
honestly.
thinking tongue.
The skeleton of Old Tom, this whale, is on display at a museum in New Zealand, and you can still see the marks from wear marks on its teeth from grabbing the ropes when they're hauling in the big whales. It's kind of crazy, huh?
That's amazing.
Couple-
Sincerely.
Yeah. A couple other quick things. Orcas have attacked boats. In 2020, there was some orcas in the Iberian Peninsula that suddenly started ramming into boats. People were like, why is this happening? And they would just be ramming into boats. Nobody died, but some boats got really fucked up. And they'd be biting the boats and nudging it and ramming into it. And people were like, why the fuck is this happening? And some people wondered if maybe it was playing, maybe it was payback because some boat killed an orca, or, and get this, some people thought maybe it was a fad because there is evidence that orcas like have had basically fads.
In their pods.
In
cultures.
1987, there were these orcas by Puget Sound, and they saw one orca for some reason would swim around with a dead salmon on its head. One female orca started doing it. Then guess what? Over the next 5 to 6 weeks, this behavior spread, and all the orcas in this pod are swimming around with a fucking dead salmon on its head.
They're cool,
Then
man.
they just stopped, and that never happened again. But there was like a 5-week period. Every time you'd see an orca from this pod, they have a dead salmon on its head,
It's
like a
when,
hat.
It's like when Tamagotchis were popular, or
Yeah.
It's like Williamsburg, Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just a weird hat.
It's like when those light up sneakers were in fashion.
sure. Or the ones you pump up the sneakers. Remember those?
Air
Well, do you remember those
Oh, is that the
orcas? There was a pod of orcas just outside of Newcastle, I believe, that wore light up sneakers on their head. That was a long.
No,
Pause there.
no.
No, it's not. That's so crazy.
That's kind of
They're
crazy,
hip,
right?
They're hip. They start
They
fashion.
have. There's evidence that they're smart. They're
I would
complicated.
like to. I would like to see an orca wearing like a 17th century ruff around their
Yeah,
neck.
they do that in France.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
like those accordion collars.
Yeah, I wonder what the orcas are like by hedonism. They might.
They're not wearing a lot. I'll tell you that
Oh, yeah.
much. Yeah.
Well, I'll wrap up. I'll wrap this up. And this was the part that made me sad. okay?
Wait, the king is here.
Yeah.
And didn't he become the king by rubbing whale jizz all over him?
Basically, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Behind a screen.
Yeah.
Behind a
Thank
screen.
you. You can hear him still thanking.
What a strange.
What was it called
Tradition.
The coronation?
The stuff, yeah.
Oh, whale I
but
don't
it
know.
is.
whale mess.
They literally use whale sperm to coronate a king.
Are you joking?
No.
I just assumed you're joking.
Well, sperm was used from whales in like perfumes and stuff, and
Because I think of sperm as something you like, you drink if you're just sucking off a guy. But what is your? So you're saying
Yeah,
they
you
use
do
sperm
rub it
for-
all over yourself, right?
But this is. You're being serious.
yeah, sperm was used. Or sperm whale, like what's the stuff that was in them? The stuff was used, like the blubber and stuff was used
Like
for
whale oil, that
perfume
kind of shit.
and oil. Yeah, it was used
Yeah.
for perfumes and candles and stuff like that.
But but that's jizz. I just assumed that was like it's. I don't know.
Yeah,
Something
I don't think
else.
I don't think it's the same as actual.
Mm,
You
'Cause-
know what?
right.
He didn't do it. He didn't do it.
What a pussy.
But it is part of it.
Really? I mean, these beautiful magical animals. Maybe it's not that weird.
Yeah. But that's not what made you emotional. Something
No,
else made you
no.
emotional.
Well, what made me sad was, and I always hate this. I love watching animal documentaries or videos, and I always hate the end when they go, by the way, we're killing them. I hate that. It makes me so sad.
Yeah.
But here's just a brief little bit about that. Not brief because it's not important. but just because-
Ambergris.
But that's not ejaculate, is it?
I don't.
It just makes me think of like grease, like fat or something.
yeah, I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's not for reproduction.
Yeah. Anyway, there are estimated to be only around 50,000 orcas in the world in the wild.
Whoa.
We used to regard orcas as pests. In the Pacific Northwest and in Iceland, the shooting of orcas was accepted and even encouraged by governments. And like 25% of orcas captured in the 1970s in Puget Sound had like bullet scars and stuff. It's really sad. The U.S. Navy claimed to have deliberately killed hundreds of orcas in Icelandic waters with machine guns and rockets. I mean, really sad. And there's also sad, there's around 55 orcas in captivity, which, SeaWorld and all that. But
Right.
those orcas develop problems. They only live to their 20s. And because we know they are these complicated social animals, it's probably really cruel to just isolate one and leave them in some,
Right.
I mean, I don't know. It feels pretty wrong. So in 2016, SeaWorld announced they would be ending their orca breeding program. Because, some orcas were born in
captivity.
SeaWorld.
Right.
And they would be ending their theatrical shows. However, as of 2020, the shows were still ongoing. No idea about 2025. But if you're listening to this 5 years ago, that's what's happening. And, the population just in general is declining because of pollution, reduced salmon population, et cetera, et cetera.
Very sad.
So, but I mean, yeah.
majestic creatures.
Yes, but I admire people who who devote their lives to conservation of these kind of animals and stuff. They're really smart. Anyway, is it time to bring out the...
Oh, here he comes, and he's just playing with a seal cruelly, bouncing it around like a basketball before he
Harlem
eats it.
Globetrotters,
Yes,
but cruel.
and he is wearing a dead salmon on his head for fashion, and he's got a very complex social structure. It's the evilometer.
Okay, I'm gonna go first because I've thought about this on the way over. So yeah, like I said, I was gonna give him a full 0 because I was so entranced by these creatures. But then I thought, if I think they have intelligence, I got to give them a little bit on the scale for the way they honestly like Freddy Kruegered this seal. So I give them a 0.2.
All right. I'm going to not give them the benefit of the doubt. I think they are a malicious beast. I'm going to give them a 9.6 on the evilometer scale.
All right. This is
Chris?
the widest disparity in evil men history. I like it.
Chris, you have the deciding vote on the fate of the killer whale. the
So
orca.
sorry, James. What did you say?
0.2.
I said 9.6.
Oh my god. These orcas' lives are in my hands.
Yeah. There's a new law. We have a totalitarian government, and whatever score we decide determines their fate.
God, I love creatures more than human beings. But it has been a dick in the past. I'm giving it a 3.
I like it. I like it.
All right.
Oh boy. Well, guys, before we go, we just want to mention again we have that live show, June
28th?
Yep, 7 p.m. Toronto. You know what? This sucker's gonna sell out. So please get your tickets soon. Join Patreon. Get 10% off.
Also, I'm doing a show. This is coming out on Thursday. On Friday, May 30th, I'm doing my new stand-up show called International Lover at the Transact Club in Toronto. Ticket link will be in the show notes. I'd love for you to come out. Chris, do you have anything to promote?
I'm still like, okay, I was out of it near the back half there because I knew there's something missing about the king's coronation that I know.
You know, we'll do a cliffhanger. Come back next week.
Come back next week. Maybe I'll have the
we'll learn
information.
it. Yeah, maybe he'll have it.
And it was whale related. And I don't think it was just the ambergris. I think it's something else.
I can weigh in here a little.
Oh,
Yeah.
please,
I
Michael.
did some research back here. So the king is coronated with intestinal wax from sperm. I think where the confusion was, it's from sperm whales.
That is the ambergris then.
Yeah, I think so. But it's not sperm, it's from a sperm whale.
Right.
Okay,
Oh, I'm
that is
really
different.
upset. I'm upset about that.
That would have been shocking.
It's not like a bukkake coronation where they're like, ooh, here it comes.
A beast will combine bestiality and bukkake. And, yeah, that would be a
like
shock.
the whale is being masturbated in front of the king. Like
It's kind of like a David Lynch movie that little guy is watching. You know what I mean? From Mulholland Drive. Yeah. Well, thank God the royal family isn't so depraved that they do that.
There we go. We
as
solved
far
it.
as we know.
Yeah, as far as we know, they probably whack off to that kind of stuff on their computers. They're probably all twisted.
They probably go to real battles on the planet where there's wars and death and whack off.
They're like those guys in Squid Game that watch all the competitors.
Yeah.
If you have absolute wealth and power, I think it twists you into a psycho.
I never saw season 2. Is it good?
I haven't seen it either, but I liked one, and I really thought Mike might like one.
Haven't seen it.
Yeah, you'd like it. What are you watching right now, Mike?
I'm watching the new Netflix documentary about the Vietnam War, and it's very good. But I'm watching a pirated version that doesn't have the subtitles when the people from Vietnam are speaking, which is quite a lot of the time. But I get the gist that it was bad.
You know, there's this in my algorithm. There's a trend on Instagram now of, and I'm super claustrophobic, so I weirdly have like a poking the bruised joy at looking at like people doing crazy things, and tourists can go into the like barely fittable holes
The
that
tunnels?
Yes.
Right.
Would you do that?
They can go into what tunnels? Like
in
just
Vietnam
caves?
at
The North
Viet-
Vietnamese tunnels. That,
Yeah.
Oh my
all over
god!
the
No, I
country.
couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh my god. Speaking of ambergris,
Yeah, claustrophobia.
Yeah.
No thanks.
Yeah, I got it bad. But I still will like someone spelunking in the wedge of a cave that like anyways, you get it. That was another great episode of